例によってこの間のが、これまた二重になってんじゃないか、これ。Hello! 大丈夫そう。で、音は How about now? Can you hear me? Good luck with the sounds and fingers. Oh, yes, it's working, yes! ちっちゃくしてよ。Okay, finally! Thank you so much for coming back. I don't know what the issue is. Yeah. Thank you. Before I get started, usually I check the camera, like when I start YouTube live, it doesn't let me see the preview screen, like I can't see my face. I don't know what this looks like and so on. So I have to launch like a photo booth and then check, okay, everything is good, close it, start YouTube, and then go live. And lately, I don't know why like I'm having issues. I don't know if it's the connection or computer, probably this laptop. But anyway, what I was saying was, ta-da! I found this at my parents' house because I went there to walk the dog for 2 days. I left my dog here. Talking about my husband. But anyway, this is something that one of you sent me a long time ago for 2016 election. And it's a coloring book of Trump. Let's make coloring great again. See? And I don't know why I have like I put this a long time ago so that color has changed, but like Hillary and Trump. And have I ever showed you before? What is this one? Oh, this is a nice one. Melania and Trump in a sailor uniform, like a navy type. Cool, right? Like a lot of, I don't know why, but Gandhi with Trump. I mean, Trump with Gandhi. And so on. This. So I thought like maybe one day I should color for you guys, right? Poor Hide. Yeah. You look still wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So in Japan, I don't know what's happening in your country. Let me know what you guys been up to, what kind of news you're hearing. Yeah, not much about America lately, I feel. And so what our country is talking about lately is, yeah, bam, like it's a huge front page, right? This is about our national diet, of course, because we are having a national election at the end of this month, right? 15. So today over here it's 13, October 13th. In 2 days, we have like officially our election, national election, like a House of Representative election takes place. And we have the voting date is 27th. So 12 days? Yeah. So we have an election. So they dissolved the House of, the National Diet, right? And House of Representatives, they don't have a badge anymore. They have to fight for the seats. So we are talking about this. So the following, this is from Thursday, right? And today's newspaper is this, see, Sunday, 13th. And just talking about our domestic policies and 7 party leaders having discussion, like a party debate. Or it's not a debate, it's a discussion. But you see all the faces here. These are all the leaders of our political parties, like national level political party. And party leaders all shaking hands together and so on. So they're talking about national security, nuclear weapons, reforming politics, and so on. Just discussion. And on the other side, today, this grandpa looking guy is speaking as the representative for his own organization called Hidankyo, which won the Nobel Peace Prize. For what? For no nuclear weapons. Their contribution for nuclear weapons, I mean, abolishing nuclear weapons, basically, the proliferation, such a hard word to say, proliferation and like the spread of nuclear weapons, and also the to ban the usage of nuclear weapons. So you know, so they are now saying again like, oh, nuclear weapons. We want to help abolish nuclear weapons, and they are happy about it. It's this type of movement, just so you know, are leftist movement in Japan. So did my husband just walk behind me? um, yeah. So leftists here are. It's hard to explain because over here in Japan, after the World War II, it's the conservatives like myself are anti-regime because we are living in a so-called post-war regime. We lost the war, right? The World War II, Japan lost. America and other countries, they basically America though they imposed a lot of things, right? Like purging our patriotic officials, you know, enforcing press code and so on to control the media and blah blah blah. So it's basically the policies that were imposed to Japan were anti-Japan, like to weaken Japan, right? Because Japan at the time for them were like we were their enemy, right? So leftists are the type of people that were living in that system. Conservative or right-wing people, they were kicked out of that system. So we conservatives are against such post-war regime, right? And those leftists, though, have all this twisted way of understanding. They are against the like they are basically pro post-war regime because they have power in our society today. They are lawyers, they are teachers, their status are high because they listened to those who railed the policies for our country, right? But at the same time, they don't like America. They want to kick out U.S. bases from Japan, uh, and so on. And I would say that it's largely because of the influence by North Korea and China because they are basically working for them, like politically, it's political dynamics wise. What they're doing is actually benefiting China, North Korea, and that sort of authoritarian countries. And they want to so they like follow the propaganda by Russia or China, saying that, oh, America is the bad empire, and that, oh, Japan should get independent. That's good. Getting independent is good, but our leftists listen to them and say that, oh, Japan is colonized, basically, like, we are the like a puppy of what's the word, like, we belong to the states and whatsoever, and that we have to get independent. America is bad, kick them out, and blah blah blah. But if we kick them out, what happens is China comes in, just like what happened back in the day in the Philippines and so on. But anyway, so they are, when they say like, no nuclear weapons, basically leftists usually say like it's about America's nuclear weapons. They don't really talk about Russia. Today, kind of, they do, but leftists are divided into half when it comes to the war between Ukraine and Russia. Because moderate leftists support Ukraine because they care so much about human rights, and also they usually value the rule of law, which Russia is violating. But extreme leftists, they always side with Russia. So they are, defending Russia's narrative, talking about Japan and America in a bad way, and so on. Like, it's all like twisted and everything, and it's so hard to grasp what's like what each people which type of people are saying. It's all chaotic right now. But anyway, what I should tell you, sorry, I was not really prepared, so I'm probably confusing you. But what you should know is that this is a leftist organization, and Japanese Communist Party and what's that word? Social Democratic Party. They are happy about this. So because another important thing is that they are very like self-torturing. So they tell Japan not to repeat the same mistakes. They don't, even though they on a daily basis, even though they bash America, they rather tells us not to be armed, and that Japan should have the get on the treaty to ban nuclear weapons. Ooh, Bird up is here. Thank you so much for super chat. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for supporting my channel always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yoko tax. Yes, time for Yoko tax. Where is everybody today? Is it too late? There's some music going on outside because it's 5 p.m. Sorry, I am so slow. But yeah, so that's about it, right? So we are now like on X. Like, X is a good, like, politically active people are active on X, in Japan, and we are people on my timeline, on my feed, people are talking about this Nobel Peace Prize that Japan won because we are complaining, basically. Another thing is the division among the conservatives in Japan. There's this new party that they don't have a seat yet in the diet, and it's just, yeah, whatever. The conservative party is there, and they are problematic. So there are people that are fighting them, and like there are lots of disputes going on inside the conservative bubble. And so I just see basically those two. And even though like things like this, like about our national election, even though this is far more important, we're not really talking about it like on social media. People are rather talking about the Nobel Peace Prize and so on. What's interesting is though that we, like conservative people, don't like this because it's okay. Like, yeah, like you can think whatever you want. Like, you're free to think whatever you want. But the problem of this type of people, the leftist anti-nuclear weapons people, they never complain about Chinese nuclear weapons. They don't complain about North Korean nuclear technology development, and it's always about like this time, this like Nobel Peace Prize committee. I know that they picked this organization because they can use these people to to stop Putin, basically, by our public opinion internationally, which is good. But these people never, they don't try to stop China, they don't try to stop North Korea, and even the Japanese Communist Party. I believe that they called the Soviet Union nuclear weapons like clean or beautiful or something like that, and they didn't cooperate with them, and they made some other organization apart from this organization that won. Because they are the Japanese Communist Party is the Japanese branch of Comintern. right? Comintern back in those days, and so they are close to Soviet Union or Russia, and usually they are friendly to Chinese Communist Party, but it's not like they have some struggles sometimes, so they're not always friendly to each other. So which is always fun to watch, but anyway. Hello. By chance, the first stream of yours I've called in a long while. Oh, really? No, it's function of our time zone differences, but must they always be always happen while I'm asleep? Yeah, at first I was setting the time at noon for me, around noon or 11 a.m. But like I have a physical condition, and also like my like everybody has a like a cycle, time cycle, right? That works best. And for me, somehow, like if I go to sleep at 3 or 4 and then wake up at noon, that works the best for me. Like I'm most healthy with that time cycle, and probably it's the perfectly the opposite from where you live. Yeah, so I could do it at night. Like at night, I'm super like energetic, but probably I don't know. Like in the morning, people don't really watch stuff online. Hmm. Good evening, Yoko. I didn't think you were coming on tonight. Sorry. They've been talking about a stock market crash in Japan. Really? Is that true? Some are predicting a bad one here in the States. Ooh, that's good to know. Because we never know. Our newspaper talking about our party leader discussion, Nobel Peace Prize, and Banpaku. How do you call what do you call Banpaku in English? World Exhibition or Expo? Okay, Expo. World Expo. Yeah, it's happening in Osaka, right? 2015. No, that's 10 years ago. 2025. It's so weird to say these numbers because I feel old. Next April? I see. Yeah. So until the World Expo in Osaka, it's only 6 years. 6 years to go. So they're talking about it on the front page, which means one of the biggest topics here. Oh, Nate, thank you so much for Yoko Talks. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yoko still looks 21. Thank you. I'm actually wearing what I got on my parents' house. I still have some clothes back home, and I realized like, I can still wear it, but yeah. So when I was in my 20s, I picked these, and I guess I can still wear them. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, those are stuff that we are talking about, and I don't see much about that sort of like a market crash. I bet the people in the field, economic people, are probably talking about it, but we don't really hear about it, do we? なんか市場の下落みたいな話って。My husband is like, no, doesn't exist. I don't know. He's sitting on my gaming chair right now, so yeah, like a king. No, we don't talk about it. It's not because we are politically active and conservative. No, like it's the Japanese people are not. We are not talking about that. Why? I wonder where that is coming from, though. Like it's normal for like those who do stock markets and so on, like those who are economically active that way. I bet that there are concerns, but Japanese people to begin with, like we don't do stocks, which is probably bizarre to especially Americans. I hear that Americans like, do you guys do it? Stock market? like I mean, stock market, well, stocks. I don't even know what to call it because that's not my thing. It's not our thing. Our government, though, because our economy is bad, and like they're having a hard time trying to fix it. And also, like, by the time the people like myself get really old, like by the when we hit the age that we are supposed to retire occupationally, that's when we are supposed to receive pensions. But due to the economic situation, together with the decline of our population, the government is like, oh, you have to take care of yourself, like that's the unspoken push for us. So they are introducing NISA. What you call NISA in English? It is in English, but I don't know what NISA, what it stands for. Oh, it's based on ISA, individual saving account. So probably N is Nippon, maybe. Doesn't say the official name, but yeah. So now we are like, oh, we have to do that. So stuff like that. And why? We got no truth from the news or the corporate media, so that's why I'm subscribed to 993 YouTube channel. Not counting some Rumble. I see. A few channels on Rumble. I heard Japan has a raccoon problem. Oh yeah, we do actually. Raccoons, but rather bears. Bears are our new problem. Seriously, when we watch the news on TV, like they seriously, with a straight face, they say like, bears in town again. you know, bears attacking the elderlies. We have to do something. Yeah. So that's what we see on TV. But like we are not allowed to carry weapons, like guns and blades and so on. We are not supposed to carry them, but you can get a license to hunt animals. So it's something that some people do, especially in the north, because bears, for example, on my island, I don't think that there are bears, wild bears. But and it was a problem of up north. But the problem is that they are coming down little by little. So one day maybe there might be uh some bears too. But over here we see some monkeys sometimes though. And monkeys are cute, right? And they're smart, they're cute, you think, but they can attack people too, like especially like young kids. So that's and then they have some kind of bacteria and so on. So that's not good. So yeah, we have stuff like that. Raccoons were imported from the USA and they spread too fast. Did you hear of this? No. ラクーンってタヌキじゃなかったっけ？ラクーン。アライグマか。アライグマ。Really? But is it different? What you're talking about is tanuki or a certain raccoon? I don't, because we've had like our raccoon for such a long time, like hundreds of years of history, but together with fox, right? Like it appears in our fairy tale and so on, but I don't know. But always it's the foreign kinds, whatever it is, like whether it's plants or animals, it's the foreign kinds that are strong, like our ants, for example. Ants, they when there are like foreign kinds, they cannot win. So yeah, it's really affecting our nature. Yes. My husband seems so bored. Oh no. I'm boring him. Retirements are usually stocks, and some people have no non-retirement brokerage accounts as well. Oh, I see. What's the retirement age in Japan? Right now, is it 65? Or it used to be 60. And it kind of depends on which occupation you have. Like, for example, the Japanese self-defense forces, they have to retire at 50 something, I think. Where, なんだっけ、退職年齢 uh, let's see. Oh yeah, 65 usually. Oh, it has to be over 60, but then it was 60 and then they pulled it to 65. So like before that, you can't fire them, right? I mean, not fire, but like they are not supposed to retire. They're not supposed to oblige to retire. So sometimes what happens is that, for example, the newspaper, Sankei Shimbun, the conservative leaning newspaper, they're having a hard time sustaining their business because like people today don't read a newspaper actually. So like it doesn't matter if you are liberal or conservative, like especially Sankei Shimbun, the conservative paper. Like we are the minority. We are against the regime, so we are the minority. And even though we try to, buy them, we can't sustain the business anymore. And what happened was that they are, letting some workers go by their will. So it's like retirement, but it's their will, so they are quitting earlier and so on. So that happens. Oh, Bernard, thank you for your super chat. Japanese can't carry weapons, but you can defeat the raccoons by imitating the Ishiba stare of disapproval. Death stare. Maybe it works. Maybe by that look, the raccoons would think that we're dead. アライグマ。でもタヌキのことじゃないかと思うんだよな。日本で問題になってるっていうのはタヌキじゃない？わかりません。はい。Yeah. But did you notice Ishiba's face is actually changing a little bit because like he is human, He he couldn't have a good spot after a certain point, and he was always pushed to the corner of the party, but the big party, and he was the opposition party inside LDP. So like when people are pushed to the edge, you go like, we don't like anybody, right? You get into this negative vibe and you speak ill of everybody, right? So that's what he was doing. So then he was like, I don't like this. This is wrong. Nah, 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 like all negativity, and his face was really bad. But after he got elected as the leader of LDP, he, his eyes, he was like this before, and then now he's like, like open. His eyes are open a lot more than before. So I'm hoping that next it'll be like, right, like I'm hoping that he will be like this. Yeah, I think he's a good guy though. Like his strategies are not strong because he was pushed to the corner, and what that means politically is that he was outside of the circles inside the party, so he was not getting updates due to policies and what's going on with the US and so on. So what the things that he says, for example, he was talking like when he was when he became the prime minister, he was saying that Japan, or I mean, in our area, we should have the Asian version of NATO. And then India, starting from India, and then American experts and so on, like everybody was like, what are you talking about? Like it would not work, and Japan can't do that due to the laws here, and also like it would stimulate politics in a bad way. So people are saying like, what is he thinking? But the thing is that it was a discussion from until like 10 years ago. But after Abe took power again, the second time as prime minister in 2012, uh, things advanced a lot. And the premises changed a lot. But Ishiba was out of the circles. He was complaining from outside. So he's not updated. And so we're talking to a history, He's not still like he has to come to the present, but he's learning little by little. And one thing, this footage that I saw of him was interesting. One of our friends, expert on Ukrainian issue, he was filming uh, an event that he participated, and because it was a gathering of TV program people, like he speaks sometimes for a TV program. So like all the participants and guest speakers and so on, everybody was together. And since it's a kind of politically powerful program, Ishiba came in to, greet, right? And then I saw his entry, and he was like bowing so deeply, and also like he even used his knees like to go down, and you don't usually see like really experienced politicians doing it. Like they know how to have courtesy, but not in that way, like really deep, like bow down, very soft and so on. And that was really different from what I usually have seen on TV from him. So I realized like, oh, he is really such a experienced politician in Japan, Japanese conservative, especially, like they always talk bad about leftist politicians and so on, but they know how to have a political performances, on TV and so on. They know how to scream and how to put together a good slogan to, make a impression, but off the stage, they can be really, really nice and just another Japanese person, But same for Ishiba, I think that he's actually good. So I hope that we can, like I hope that he will be blessed with teammates, experts and everything, you know. Yeah. Anything I should talk about? Oh, let's talk about this. You guys like Trump. So, on our newspaper today, Trump. Do you see Trump? Here. Here. Trump. It has a little American mark here. It's a map of America. But anyway, so he is the coverage of this says that about the rally that he had in the neighborhood of Denver, and how he emphasized on illegal immigrants. And November 5th is Liberation Day. Yeah. But he's basically covering they even have a map of Denver. Do you see here? That's US. Japanese newspapers and so on usually have maps and so on, so that we can get educated. We have no idea where the cities are. So, oh, it's Colorado. I see. or death penalty to those immigrants that kill people. That's good. That's a good idea. Yeah. Like us Japanese, we are against like foreign crimes, like lately though, because our economy is bad, like really horrible crime cases are rising, and we can't really talk negatively about people overseas anymore, I feel. But still, like Japanese people don't like it when foreign people don't follow our rules, and also especially when they commit crimes. And also, 80% of over 80%, right, of people here support death penalty. So yeah. And then another thing is that this section says that Trump team is requesting like US fighter jet, not fighter jets, what's it called, like just military planes and military vehicles. The Trump team is requesting the usage of those because it's dangerous, right? Like America, what was it? In 2020, Trump administration got rid of Quds troop, like some commander in Iran. So they are Trump team is watching out for the possibility of the assassination plan of Trump. So, but it's important, right? Like it's only two candidates now for the next U.S. presidential election. Like we are at the phase, and it's really Trump has a lot of enemies for his policies, and he was attempted to get assassinated twice. So really, like you have to be careful. And I'm glad to hear this request. You know, yes. And Biden is like, we will give whatever he needs, not whatever, but all the he like Biden is welcoming in that, so it's good. Yep. Another thing here I see is that China launching another satellite for communication. That's bad. Speaking of China, there was some other article saying that China is not reacting to the Nobel Peace Prize. Usually, they say like every little minor detail stuff happens, China complains, right? But China is ignoring, especially after the Liu Xiaobo from China. He was supporting the democracy in China, and when he won the Nobel Peace Prize, when he was in prison, China didn't react, and since then, they stopped, commenting. So, like, Nobel Peace Prize does work, because it's apparent that they care about who wins and so on. So even though like when I hear like Obama's Obama said it too, like, "Oh, world with no nuclear weapons." I'm like, "Are you stupid?" Like I want to say that, but they do care. So, like, even though I have a lot to say about Nobel Peace Prize, at the same time, I'm like, it does work partially. So that's good. Alberta, thank you for your super chat. It's funny you gotta get a map of Colorado in the newspaper, and we thought I know almost nothing about Colorado. Oh no. Sorry, Colorado people. Except it's harder to breathe in. Oh yeah. Harder to breathe there because of the high elevation. Oh, it's true. I think it was Colorado that they